Here we go, all the way around. Here they come. Keep them moving. Let's go, piggies! All right.
The Nubians are what have the big floppy ears.
Okay, so the Nubians have the big floppy ears, and then the...
I'm gonna laugh if your butt goes across the grass.
Oh, he's heavy enough that he's really weighing that thing. He might make it back now.
On the grass.
Howdy y'all, I'm Daniel with Weekend Revival, and today I'm here with Elena from Crossy Ranch, and we've got a few questions for her to be able to provide us more info on the ranch and all of the fun times that are around here. So Elena, could you please tell us more about how long you've been on the ranch and a little bit about your family history and how long you've owned the ranch in the family?
Yeah, so currently my mom and my uncle are the owners of the farm, but it started with my grandpa, Dave Hinckley, and he bought this property in 1968, and he bought it kind of piece by piece, and so 1968, that was the last piece, which is actually the corn maze, and that was when it was completely in our name. So we've had it, it's like 53 years or something like that, if my math's right, and so I said Heather's my mom, and I have 3 sisters. So my oldest sister actually works here as well. She does a lot of the financing. I do a lot of the social media stuff. My younger sisters are still in school. And my uncle lives out here and works out here, and we've dragged a bunch of his best friends in and one of our best friends in to help manage everything.
So Elena, we've got a lot of animals around here, from horses to goats. Could you tell us a little bit more about all of the animals out here?
Yeah, so we originally started just as cattle ranchers and doing Black Angus, and it's really hard to make money as ranchers, right. Especially when you're the last ones in Salt Lake or kind of in this entire area. So when we switched to doing these festivals for the people, we had to get different livestock, and so we introduced goats, and we started with Nigerian dwarfs because they are like the smallest breed, or one of them, and they're like cute and tiny forever, and they have hilarious personalities. And then we got milking does, so we could utilize the milk. So to drink it, my sister makes soap out of it. We're gonna try to make lotion out of it as well. And we have some chickens, because who doesn't love eggs? And I love my chickens. We have a ton of different breeds, and they're so beautiful, and my sisters love to ride, and so we've got horses for them, and then we brought in rabbits one year, and we have a llama. So kind of anything you could want we have. And I love the goats. I take it upon myself to name all of them when we have them in the spring.
Oh, that's so
cool. We pick a theme normally, and then I come up with most, if not all, of the names. And 2 years ago, yeah, it would be 2 years ago next spring, we had a bum calf that we took in, and her name is Magnolia, and she's like my baby, and I love her so much. And if anybody follows us, they have seen the video of her licking my face. So that's like awesome. Her thing. So cows have a 3-foot-long tongue, and when it's fully extended, and they use it to eat their feed and to like tear grass up. And so part of our animal show was teaching her to lick my face, because I'm the only one who didn't care, I guess. And one day she licked my face without knowing, and her tongue went like basically straight into my mouth, and it was hilarious and awful, but I still love her. And we have some goats too. I've got Mabel over here, who's like my little baby as well, and she actually broke her leg as a little kid, and I cried hard enough that my mom put a splint on it, and we like nursed her back to health because I was like distraught. So now she's over here, and actually her baby's gonna have her first baby this year. So that's exciting. So we kind of keep our goats, and then we have like grandkids and great grandkids of them. So it's kind of fun to have them all here.
Wow, that's super cool, Elena. Those are some fun stories. So just so you all know, you might want to stay a little bit away from those cows next time you want to give one a kiss, because that's a 3-foot tongue. That's pretty long.
Pretty long and rough.
Okay, and then you're going to do a little hoedown clapping, all right? Okay, we're going to start the music over. I'm out of breath, so I'm going to go quiet for a minute. Let's just try it and see how it goes. To rumble! All right. Who is excited to see a pig run? All right, that was pretty awesome. We got
So Elena, you said this is Maple, right?
Yeah.
Hey Maple, how are you doing today? So Elena, could you tell us how long these animals here have been on the ranch, and for our audience, what types of animals are these for everyone watching?
So these guys, oh my goodness. This guy right here, we've had, I want to say for like 6 years. So this is Paco and this is Tim, and they were some of the very first goats we ever got, and they've been here forever. So these are all goats, and he's actually an Alpine, and so that's a really, really large breed, and so he's used for packing. So you can pick to go backpacking and stuff. They can carry quite a bit of weight. And since they love you, obviously, they will follow you up the mountain. And goats, they're called browsers. And so they can find their own feed. So you don't have to like pack a hay bag or anything. They can eat weeds and just be happy up in the mountains. And then like Kanga right here, she's an Oberhausley. And so she's a milk producing goat. And they produce quite a bit of milk. And Mabel, my baby, she's a La Mancha cross. So the La Manchas have the tiny ears, and she's crossed with a, I can't remember right now, but it's fine. But they're milk or dairy goats. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I see some pretty good looking horns here on this guy here. So, is this something little toddlers have to be careful of? The goat coming up to them, or do they not usually headbutt or anything?
So these are actually, I want to say they're called spurs. So we dehorn them when they're young. Okay. So when we have fences like this, goats are really notorious for accidentally getting caught and sometimes hanging themselves. So they can get their head in, but they can't get them out. So like this guy doesn't have horns because as kids, we dehorn them, and this one does. We didn't do it. It wasn't done well. But our pack goats on the other side that we use for packing, they do have.
He wants some more food here.
He is such a punk. Our pack goats, so we left their horns on them because if they're going up in the mountains, you leave them on. So if they do need to defend themselves, our goats don't headbutt. We try to teach them from a young age to not use their heads to push against us. Sometimes they learn well and sometimes they don't. So if a goat has horns, I would always say just be careful.
Okay, good to know. So again, this one was Maple here, right?
That's Kanga.
Kanga.
And then Mabel's right there.
Okay.
And then this is Ginger.
Ginger.
And
Tim.
And that's Zecora.
And Zecora. Okay.
Yeah.
Did y'all get that? There's a lot of goats here.
Yeah. And we got even more over there, so don't you worry. We have a lot of goats.
Dwarf goats are the ones over there, right?
Yeah. So Nubian is like a really typical dairy goat. And they'll cross them now with the Nigerian dwarfs, and the mini Nubians are now recognized as their own breed. And so they're smaller, so they don't consume as much feed or space, but they'll produce just as much milk as the regular sized Nubians, or close to. So over there we've got all our breeding does that will be bred for next spring, and we'll be having babies. So they are over there, and they're just waiting for the right season.
So you mentioned next spring, and that's one of the events you do is the baby animals in the spring, right? So would our viewers be able to expect to see new baby goats in the spring potentially?
Oh, for sure. We have, oh my goodness, I want to say we have close to 10 does that will have babies, and so goats are a multiple birth animal, so it's really common that they have twins to triplets. So every doe that we're going to breed is hopefully going to have 2 babies, if not 3. We have one, she either has 1 baby or 3 babies. And so last year she had triplets, so maybe this year she'll have triplets again. She might just have a single birth. So we'll have a ton of them, and we leave our little Nigerians on their moms because they do a lot better, and then we bottle feed all the bigger breeds, and that's what people can come out and help us do.
Well, you just heard it from Elena. I mean, there's going to be a lot of baby goats here, so you can't miss out. You have to come back in the spring. And Elena, could you tell us about what kind of month it is in spring that this happens?
So it's in April. So yeah, the month of April, you want to come out and check it out. It's like pretty much the cutest thing you could ever hope for. We've got the baby goats, everyone's favorite, because they are more hardy, and you can go in and they love to climb on you, to eat your hair and your clothes. They are the cutest little bottle drinkers, so you can purchase bottle feedings and go out and bottle feed one yourself. We have calves as well that you can bottle feed. We're gonna have a ton of baby rabbits. We've got chicks that we have out here, and we do have our pony is pregnant. And so, and our donkey. So our miniature donkey and our pony should be having foals as well. So we're hoping that they will have babies in the spring.
Oh my gosh, well, it's going to be a busy spring. Man, we're going to have to come back out here and
For
see it all
sure.
because everybody loves baby animals.
So goats, actually, they're grazing animals, and so when she eats, she's probably just going to use her tongue, and you're going to feel it licking your hand. So they don't have top teeth. So when they graze, let's see if he'll smile for us. Or maybe not. They don't. They just have gums on the top, and they've got grass cutter teeth on the bottom, and then they have big molars in the back. So that's why goats can like pretty much chew anything, is because their molars grind things down.
Gotcha.
But they don't actually have top teeth, and so they're going to use their tongue to lick up all the food, and it's kind of sticky, and like you can see my hands like all dirty now. But yeah, they're really safe to feed, and that's why people really like them, and we really trust our goats with people because they can't really bite you that hard, and if they do, it's kind of like a little pinch, but it's not like a horse where they could take a chunk out of you, or the donkeys. So they just will all use their tongues because they've got no top teeth.
All right, so that's good to know, right? Because now you can trust your kids over here on the farm feeding all of these goats, and as you can see, they're quite hungry animals over here. We've got this one's a little piglet. So is this typically how it works? Is he the one who's the cookie monster?
Yeah, he's one of the oldest ones here, and he's the biggest one because of his breed, and so he likes to play top dog and likes to take everybody's food. They act like they're starving all the time, and they're not, and it's honestly, they're so dramatic. Maybe not as dramatic as the donkeys. Once it hits 4:30 in the afternoon, the donkeys are braying like they're starving, and unless you feed them right then and there, they will not stop calling out to you. These ones, Mabel's the only one, and Ginger now, they'll stick their head out the fence right here, and they'll just like sit and like scream at you. But they're funny. They love treats. So we just tell people not to feed them everything because unlike what everyone thinks, goats can't actually eat everything. They could probably chew everything, but they can't digest it all. So we are really careful about not overfeeding them grains and proteins because it's not good for them and it can hurt their digestive system. So we feed them a lot of pellets, like Timothy pellets. So it's just kind of like a pasture grass put into a little pellet, and it's really hard for them to overeat that. It's like trying to overeat vegetables. You can't really do that.
So we just grabbed some of their awesome donuts. These things are so tasty.
Oh yeah.
Let's try one out.
First.
Here we go, we're diving in.
Tastes like fall.
These are absolutely awesome. You gotta come down here, try some of these donuts. Because if you don't, I might eat them all. So Elena, it seems like you've got an event for each season of the year. Could you tell us more about the upcoming Christmas festival? Because that's only gonna be here in a few months.
Yes, seriously. So we're really hoping to do a Christmas festival this year. With everybody else in the world, we are experiencing some difficulty with like supply chains and employment and finding people to come out. So we're crossing our fingers and praying that we can get this Christmas festival up and running. And if we do have it, I'm telling you, it's pretty much going to be the best thing you've ever experienced. And it's going to involve a ton of the animals and a ton of interactive like elements that you can come play in, and also just the magic of Christmas with the lights and of course our donuts, hot chocolate, and all the good stuff that you could ever want.
Well, that sounds great right there. You get the animals, the lights, and you get to feed these guys right here because you know they're still going to be hungry. So what about the summer? You have the sunflowers in the summer. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so that was a huge blessing last year, like immense blessing straight from the heavens. And so our guy who plants our corn maze suggested that we do these sunflowers because people have loved them, and I'm going to lose some hair. We decided to take a risk because that's all what farming is, and we've always been ranchers with like livestock, and so we're trying to transition into being like farmers where you're like planting and doing stuff, and that's not exactly our forte. So we were like so blessed last year, and we planted that whole sunflower section, and we like literally just prayed every single day that they would come up. And the week before we were opening, we were like, this is not like, what did we do? There was not a single like bulb on any of the things, and we were freaking out. And then about a week later, like thousands of sunflowers just showed up, and we were like, this is seriously such a miracle. And so many people came, and it was so beautiful, and they were really tall, and so you felt like you were in this like whole other land of sunflowers. You'd walk out there just engulfed with these beautiful sunflowers. I didn't know they came in any other colors besides yellow, so when we had red ones and orange ones and like all these different layers with petals, I was like, am I dumb? Like, I had no idea. And so we had planted over like 25 varieties of them, and we had, it was amazing. And this year it didn't play so well in our favor. We had a failed field, and then this one came out kind of dwarfed. Still really beautiful, so we're going to try again next year, because that's been our most requested, actually. All summer long, we've gotten phone calls every single day. I get DMs and everything all day long about the sunflowers. So we are hoping to continue to do that. We just need to figure out what piece of ground actually is going to now grow them.
Okay. Wow, well, I never knew that there were other colors of sunflowers. Did you all? And if you haven't seen them, you're going to have to come out here and check them out. And so we'll definitely be back in the summer to see it. And hopefully it's a great crop, just like the summer miracle you were talking about before. So Elena, tell us a little bit about your passion here at the farm and the community events that you put on to educate everyone in the greater Salt Lake City area.
This is like my favorite topic. So we started doing these because we needed to have enough money to keep our land out here and the livestock that we had. And it's turned into this like firing, burning passion of ours to like educate people about agriculture, because you need it to survive. Like, everything that we have is from agriculture, whether that's like your clothing, your food, your shoes, anything that you have has come from some sort of farm. And people forget that. And they blame farmers a lot for their problems and things. And we like to shine a little bit of light on kind of the joys of farming. And people love coming out here, even if it's just for a day. And it's that just like rejuvenating aspect of not being in a city and getting out and feeling like you're in the middle of the country and being with the animals and eating a hamburger that we grew the beef for. And my goodness, it is like my greatest passion, I think, in life is agriculture, because it is so cool. Like the corn maze, for example, when we planted that and we're moving hand lines all summer, and then you see the little seedlings start to grow, and then they're little stalks, and then they have all their leaves. Or the pumpkins were super cool too, when they all started sprouting and we all were like crying because we're so happy that they're like alive and thriving. And then all the flowers started coming on, and you're like, it's all worth it. Like, it's all for something. My favorite thing is the spring when we do all the kidding. My mom calls me the midwife, and I'm like, I will sleep out here. I love doing it, and like watching the animals give birth to me is like one of the coolest things ever to experience. And you get to see them like come into the world, and the instinct on animals is one of the most amazing things I think to ever witness. When the goats have their babies and the kids come out, and the first thing the mom does is turn around and start licking them completely dry and nudge them up, and they know exactly where to go to start nursing. And when we have to milk them, the fact that like they have the colostrum is like disgusting but really cool. And like having to milk that out and seeing all that come together. And the pigs are really cool when they're born. They know exactly to come out and clean the sack off of themselves and start nursing. And I'm like, how do you even know like where the like mammary system is and like where you need to go nurse from? And it's so cool. And watching people's faces when they realize like the beauty of agriculture is so awesome too, when they get to come out and experience the animals and our harvest that we have. Just like brings so much joy into my life, and that's why I want everyone to experience when they come out to the farm. We want this to feel like it's your family's farm, that you are the ones that are out here with all the sweat, blood, and tears throughout the summer and get to enjoy like the beauty that it is.
That's so awesome, Elena. I mean, you could hear her passion. I mean, this place is amazing. You have to come out here and check out all of the animals and all the hard work that Elena and her family do to make these events come true for you. So we've got the Christmas coming up, the spring, and then the sunflowers in the summer. and you still have to come out here in October while they're wrapping up the fall festival to see all the animals. So Elena, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all enjoyed this, and come check out Crossy Ranch. This is absolutely a stunning place to be. Thank you.